Good evening. It is Saturday, July 18th, 2026. My name is Jake Maaske, and this is the Debateless Weekly News Recap, your choice of alternative media. Got a lot on our plate this week, which is hilarious because beginning of the week I was thinking, oh wow, slow news week so far. Nope, absolutely not. Could not have been more wrong. To begin, right behind me, a massive bombshell coming out of Washington, D.C. We also got some outlooks domestically and internationally for the near future. And at the very end, the Canadian century of humiliation continues. So let's get right into it with our bombshell from Trump's address to the nation last night, pointing the finger at China with the claim that China interfered with our election in 2020. Now, obviously, that election was very suspicious with COVID, with the vote and ballots. There were, videos in Michigan of people acting very suspicious. With the Biden uptick at like 3 a.m., where he just took the lead in multiple swing states out of nowhere. But Trump also are added onto that, which we are very vulnerable to hacking, exploitation, and foreign influence. The White House also released claims that China acquired 220 million U.S. voter files and that members of the deep state kept quiet about it. So here's something I want you to do real quick. Go to Google and ask what percent of the United States or what percent of citizens in the United States trust our elections. The number is not good. What Trump did is fan the flames of that, fan the flames of doubt of our election process. And I know plenty of people in real life who have their questions. In addition, this did add pressure to get Republicans to fall in line, to pass the Save America Act, something that they have been working on for a long time at this point. Definitely some strategy going into that. Also, just straight up signaling that the Democrats won in 2020 because of China, pointing a lot of fingers at them. And then let's think about what does this mean for 2026? Because this is huge. We're not even thinking about 2028 yet, but 2026. I guess, for example, there's already investigations going on in Michigan, and we'll get a little bit more into that with a further story. But we're also just, signaling to China, we're going, hey, we're on to you. And of course they deny it. That's how China operates. Why would they admit to that? They are the empire that rivals us in the world, the empire of the East. It is not the USSR anymore. It is China now. And we're playing mind games with them for sure. This also reminds me of Russiagate a little bit. Back in 2016, do you remember Russiagate? Were you there? How long have you been lurking? But in 2016, the Democrat Party were accusing Russia of election interference, helping Trump get elected. Tables have turned, haven't they? So we'll see how this one develops, most likely within the near future. Crazy bombshell. We're going to stick with Trump on our next story here. This one has been going a little bit under the radar. This is not in the limelight like the previous one. But in an interview this week, Trump quotes, "A lot is going to happen in Cuba within 2 months." He's just telling us straight up now. Talked about this last week. Yes, we are most definitely at this point, I probably said most likely, but most definitely at this point, going to be messing around in Cuba. That's just what I'll say for now. And also made it clear that it wouldn't look like Venezuela. I wonder how this is going to play with what we're doing in Iran, because my prediction that I still hold is that we wouldn't touch too much of Cuba until after we got out of the Middle East. That's starting to look a little bit more shaky, but that would line up into my prediction that it would end by the end of summer, beginning of fall. We'll see. We can probably handle Cuba at the same time, though. They are not powerful. They're already struggling heavily. Rolling blackouts is a big one. Us pretty much taking control of Venezuela also hurt them tremendously. In addition, we have threatened tariffs on any country that sells or provides oil to Cuba. Put it safely, we are coming, and I think, thank God. Cuba is not our friend. They are an ally of China, our rival global empire. So the American supercontinent, there's going to be a lot of that. A lot of us basically, you could say conquering if you want. There's probably a better word for it. But really planting our stake into the American supercontinent in the near future. Cuba is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's go back to elections. Oh, there's a lot of election stuff going on. So recently, it was reported that over 250,000 registered to vote in 4 key states. We were not citizens, according to the Department of Homeland Security. California alone accounts for over half of this number because, of course, they do. California, one of the biggest pro-Great Replacement states in the country. In addition, roughly a week ago, the Department of Justice sent a letter to multiple states and local election officials threatening criminal prosecution if any non-citizens are found to have voted in the 2026 midterms. A lot of pressure there. In addition, election monitors, this was over a week ago, I believe, with election monitors announced to be sent in Michigan, Arizona, Minnesota, Virginia, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. We are cracking down hard. The Trump administration cracking down hard. Not really we as in the United States, because we do need something to raise election integrity, raise trust in elections, and that is what is going on right now. And it's just hilarious. 250,000. 250,000. The thing that the left says doesn't happen has been proven correctly once again. They are absolutely in shambles with this sort of report, begging for a 2028 victory. And you already know that if they do get power in 2028, the lawfare is going to be insane against this administration. But this is a wild report right here as well. A lot of crazy stuff coming out this week. Speaking of the Democrats, what does this mean? Josh Shapiro warns Democrats face battle over what we believe in after socialists upset primary victories. Yup, that's coming. It's been a long time coming. It's finally here. Establishment Democrats have literally facilitated this, by the way. But yes, the DSA, the boogeyman in the Democratic Party, is making moves. They are getting larger, and it is terrifying them. The elder establishment Democrats letting in, yeah, we love the third world, these sanctuary cities. Socialists? Who are these socialists? They're illegals. They're foreigners. They're not Americans. Oh, I guess we just found out that they can vote too. Isn't that something? Or as young people that are mentally ill. I mean, those are your 2 categories of these socialists. It is either foreigners or younger people, way farther left than the Democrats, establishment Democrats, that are going to support this DSA, this new movement. Personally, I hope Antifa goes apeshit internally on the left because, newsflash, Antifa does not like the Democrat Party. Even though, remember when I said that they were asking for it, they facilitated it? It's time to reap what you sow, because the Democrats they've always been soft on Antifa. Well, guess what? Your little child that you grew and nurtured is coming after you. So I hope Antifa goes crazy on them. This should be a major advantage for the Republican Party with this leftist infighting, the Democrat Party infighting. They got to maximize on it, amplify that this is great replacement in action. Because not only are you going to reach out to centrists, but you're actually going to reach out to liberals who just don't know any better. That is my personal opinion, a large chunk of liberals, they want to do what feels good. The emotional manipulation gets them easily. Guess what? I'm thinking too, this ain't your grandpa's Democratic Party anymore. The liberals of the 90s, 80s, aka establishment Democrats, voters, they're going to start seeing this come 2028. And I am very interested to see what the reaction is come election season. Not only in 2028, 2026, they just won some primaries, the DSA. Are they going to win? We'll see. We'll see, but I cannot wait. But yeah, this is proof too that the Democrat Party becoming the party for the third world, it's how they win. Again, I always like to mention the James O'Keefe undercover interview where he had a Democrat operative basically just tell them, yeah, while Biden was letting in 10 million at minimum illegal immigrants, neglecting the border, he's like, yes, this is good for us. We want them there. They will vote for us. We are going to convince them to vote for us. But this final battle is looming, not only between the Republican and Democratic Party, because I think that's what's going to happen as well. I think one of the two parties is going to hold power for a lot longer than just a pair of terms, like it has been in recent history. And this internal battle will determine, again, in my thesis about the new left, the new right, who is going to be in control. The new left, are you going to transform into this DSA? We'll see. Here, let me give you some examples of what part of their platform is. So the DSA wants to abolish the Senate and the Electoral College. Yeah, does that sound like the Democratic Party of the 90s, 2000s, 2010s even? I mean, yeah, compare that to Obama. Night and day. You reap what you sow. I cannot wait for the infighting. Let's move on. We're sticking with far left, though. This is another one that just gets me jubilant. The Trump administration unleashes a global campaign to crush radical left terrorism. Here we go. 67 countries met just recently this week to add far-left terrorism to the counterterrorism mission. Finally. Rubio highlighted how far-left terrorism has been ignored for too long, and then it surged to a level that has never been seen before. And yeah, you can think in recent history, Tyler Robinson, we just had that news come out, that, yeah, guess what? It wasn't Israel. It was Antifa. Okay. Let's not get things twisted. Let's not twist different issues together. Antifa killed Charlie Kirk, right? And they've just been allowed to roam for the longest time with little consequences. And just out on the streets, catch and release, catch and release, catch and release. 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. When does it end? Hopefully now. I think of, recent history. Texas, the first ones to actually imprison some of these idiots. Long time. I want to say it was 400 or 500 cumulative years between a little crew, a squad. About time. And I long time coming, buddy. I think of Tyler Dykes. He is running for Congress in South Carolina this year, by the way. He was sentenced to prison time over January 6th. Remember that? Remember January 6th? The left didn't want you to forget about it. Which was an entrapment scheme, by the way. The 275 plainclothes FBI undercover agents. Yeah, that was an entrapment scheme. He served prison time. Now he's running for Congress. In addition, Antifa jumped him even prior to that. Beat the crap out of him. Guess what? Guess how much trouble Antifa got in? Jack shit. Seems a little two-tiered justice system-y, doesn't it? Well, maybe that's going to come to an end soon. In addition, Secretary of the Treasury Besant vowed to dismantle financial infrastructure sustaining left-wing terrorism. Again, the Democratic Party facilitating Antifa, their little child that's growing up into a monster that's going to eat them alive. Where do they get all their funding from? They're very organized, by the way. The left wing has been able to organize a lot easier than the right wing. Every time the right wing tries to organize, Fed infiltration. There's fear of Fed infiltration every single frickin' time. Might as well do it to Antifa. Or just stop their funding completely. Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller made clear there's going to be no retreat. They're all in. I mean, they only have 2 years guaranteed. We don't know if the Democrats are going to be put in power. So they need to hammer down now, which, thankfully, is the plan. And I also wonder, will the Democrats really try to fight this? Because I don't know. It depends. By 2028, are the Democrats going to be thinking, yeah, we hate Antifa too? Are they going to realize that they messed up? I doubt it, personally. I don't know, though. The leftist infighting that's coming, there's a lot of unpredictable variables. It's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. And I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? But yeah, the clock is ticking for the Trump administration on this. Again, they're only guaranteed a couple years going after Antifa. But countries all over the world as well. This isn't just the United States. This is Europe. This is Latin America. Finally, far-left terrorism is being not only addressed, but attacked. It's about time. Next story, let's move to ICE, something the far left absolutely hates. We had an ICE shooting in Phoenix. Thankfully, no one died. As of right now, none of the perpetrators have been identified by the time I am recording. And I just want to throw it out there, too. It's a dangerous job being an ICE agent. They show incredible restraint every day. You know, the news will get you riled up over people being foolish and dying, basically committing suicide by cop, ramming into their vehicles, ramming into their person. And, you know, how could they? ICE is so evil. Do you realize what we're preventing, right? You realize that we are going after the criminals first, right? Literal sex offenders, literal murderers, drug dealers, thieves, whatever you want. Oh no, they're refugees. They're escaping their countries of danger. It's like they are not in danger, buddy. They are the danger. That is why we are going after them. Like, think too. Think if China did this. Think if China went through on mass deportations, which they don't need to because they're 91% Han Chinese. But do you think, I want to say it's around 60 people have died by ICE in Trump's term. That number would be in the thousands if China was enacting the same operations. ICE agents show incredible restraint every day. Their job is not easy. Okay? So, again, they're getting shot at. The far left wants to kill them. They want to dox them. They want to kill their families. They want to burn their houses down. They show incredible restraint. And again, bigger picture. This is the effort to combat Great Replacement right now. This is the best solution as of right now, July 18th, 2026. If America is going to be America by 2050, if you want that to happen, you better hope ICE is successful. And here's some successes I got for you. Got a short one here. Second ICE facility in Northeast Denver. Coming up, Denver, Sanctuary City. They have plenty of legals, trust me. And in addition, we have the Roxbury, New Jersey massive warehouse to be a detention center. They're going through with this. This was previously halted. The right wing got very mad at this because the New Jersey state government, Governor Mickey Sherry, been fighting very hard for this to not happen. It's been kind of going back and forth on and off again. Like I said, previously they weren't going to go through with it. Now they are again. This is a funny quote that I got from from a council member. And I quote, the governor, this was after they said they weren't going to do it. The governor did a dance, an anti-Trump dance, in the end zone to celebrate her victory. And now the ICE facility is finally back on again. Good. Governor Sherry, clearly pro-Great Replacement, clearly not America First, clearly knows that the Democratic Party is relying on Great Replacement to win elections. So this is excellent. New Jersey, where was it? It was a detention facility in New Jersey that recently also had demonstrations, anti-ICE demonstrations right outside of the facility. New Jersey, very clearly anti-ICE in general. Glad they're going through with it. And in addition, this just came out as well. I don't have an article for it, but the traffic stops will continue. That was another thing that was halted for like 48 hours, where they said, okay, we aren't going to do traffic stops anymore. This was because, someone tried to ram their car into ICE, shot them through the windshield, straight up. The media tried to paint it as if they shot them through the window, making it seem like they were on the side. No, you can literally see the bullet holes in the windshield. Again, suicide by cop. Again, with this off and on activity, the Trump administration has been doing this frequently when it comes to ICE, where they'll stop doing something for a few days, a few weeks, The right wing gets all riled up. Oh, taco, taco, and then they'll go right back into it. I expect more of that activity in the future. A lot of mind games going on when it comes to ICE. And then finally, the Canadian century of humiliation continues. Why? Well, air quality in the Rust Belt to New York City to Toronto is the worst it's ever been. It's the worst in the world. Worse than India. Worse than Chinese smog. Worst air quality in the world right now? United States of America. Thank you, Canada. Good job. They can't even control wildfires anymore. I mean, of course, there have been various precautions made. This is new to the East Coast too. The West Coast, they're used to wildfires. It's not like it's a good thing, but they're used to it. It's drier. It's way more humid in the East Coast. It's very dry in the West Coast. Like California, for example, they get wildfires all the time. East Coast, I couldn't tell you the last time that they've had a something like that. Well, this has never happened before, first of all. But, I mean, I don't know. This is just new to the East Coast. I don't really know what to say on it. But yeah, Canada, century of humiliation, can't control their fires now. They're too busy working on great replacement. They're too busy trying to replace their own people. It's also hilarious because they brag about how green they are. Good job. Good. You're doing great, Canada. Can't win a hockey game. Can't follow through with your green activity. Can't do anything right. Canada, you're our little brother. And it is funny, too, how their great replacement is getting fueled by Indians. Well, okay. What are they? They're trying to make it look like India. I guess they're following through on what they believe in. Wake up, Canada. I don't blame Alberta, by the way, for wanting to secede at this point. They realize how much of a joke their country is. Just say the word. Just say the word, Canada. I want you. I like Canada, believe it or not. I love Canadians. There's a difference between the Canadian people and the Indian people. But, I like hockey. I played growing up. I like their culture. I like native Canadian culture. But I always like to bring up 2050. There won't be a Canada by 2050 if something doesn't change for them. Because, yeah, they're really trying hard to look like India. Good job, morons. But, yeah, just say the word, will come on up. I'm just throwing it out there. We literally allow Canada to exist, by the way. That is like the power of the United States, of our empire. We allow a lot of countries to exist. It's a choice to not want to mess around. Cuba's going to find out real quick that we've let them exist for a lot longer than they probably should have. We're going to introduce them. We're going to take them under our wing in the American empire. And this is what's going to piss the left off. It's going to be better that way. Quality of life in Cuba will undoubtedly be better when we succeed. But Canada, century of Canadian humiliation. Another story, it feels like I'm talking about Canada all the time. They just keep embarrassing themselves over and over again. But before I get carried away, that is the end of the weekly news recap. I hope y'all have a great week. Follow us at Debateless on X, Facebook, Instagram. Find us on YouTube and Rumble. TikTok. We have a TikTok now. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how long they let us stay up. In addition, visit Debateless.com. Matt Forney's interview with Josh Rayner just recently came out talking about health and fitness, some COVID fallout, and much more. Of course, stay safe if you are affected by these fires, by the way. Pray, shoot some prayers to the East Coast. Why not? Rust Belt, Toronto. I'll be back next Saturday for next week's update. Again, have a great week and stay blessed.